Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be an all-the-random game between Tho and Happy. Tho, also known as Samdan, also known as Egg here, spawning on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right, we have Happy spawning as, well, undead. So just because Happy gets undead doesn't mean he's going to be playing all, well, undead the same exact way. Unless he somehow lucks into, well, Death Knight, Lich, and all of that jazz. So we'll see how that unfolds here as, well, Samdan, Tho, Egg on the top left, opening things up with an Altar of Elders, and there is that Moonwell with a proxy Ancient of War to try and clear out this mercenary creep camp here, which is rather high, actually. Rock Golem, Mud Golem, and remember, these trappers do deal large amounts of damage, 28 to 37, 21 to 29. And then we also have this, well, fast attacking normal damage as well. Back on the southern side here, we are getting that crypt up. We are getting that Tomb of Relics. And now the Acolyte needs to do a bit of scouting. Always interesting to see how these all the random games go, because, well, I can't really predict anything until at least the first, if not second hero is out. Acolyte doing a little bit of a chase against that crab there, finally getting in enough damage, and that crab will be leaving behind a corpse. And oh, that would be interesting if you could actually have a wisp detonate and remove corpses. Otherwise, some races just can't use them either. But that's another discussion for another time. Tho, 18 over 20 supply. Happy sitting at 17 over 20. We are getting up more archers here. Random heroes will be popping out here in the next couple of moments. And then from here, we get to finally see what these players have in store for us. It is going to be a Beastmaster coming across from Tho. And he, well, quickly summons down Misha, the bear, as, well, the bear is going to try and tank a little bit of that damage. That is 600 hit points that well, heavy armored bear can tank. And we see a boulder right now onto that Beastmaster as the Ancient of War also tanking quite a bit here. All right, apologize, that is Freudian slip? I don't know. Anyways, coming back around to that bear, well, tanking that damage here. Meanwhile, Ancient of War needing some repairs, dangerously low on hit points. There's some boulder tosses as well as that Ancient of War gets a wisp nearby to try and tank a bit more of that damage. Now, I do not, well, yep, you can have two bears. I know in the campaign you were only allowed to have one bear at a time, and I think for a short while, actually in PV or on BattleNet and PvP, you were only allowed one bear at a time as well. These bears are very tanky, 600 hit point bears this early into the game, and we could be looking at perhaps a couple of Quill Beasts to follow. Meanwhile, it is a Keeper of the Grove coming across from Happy. So Happy, Keeper of the Grove with Claws of Attack +8, able to deal quite a bit of range damage, as we are looking at the Undead with perhaps the fast expansion attempt. As that bear, or as the Beastmaster cleans up the remainder of this creep camp here, we can see Ancient of War still trying to crank out some more units. We can see a Forest Troll Shadow Priest has been trained up. More bears making their way across as the Keeper of the Grove is going to venture forth and perhaps put down quite a bit of damage. Night Elf base, very sparse. A lot of wisps are very much exposed as the ghouls are going to be rushing on in here. All right, ghouls, 11 to 13 damage right now, going after all of these targets, and there's a quick detonation. Units continuing to try and fall back here. We're going to see one ghoul, or one wisp, another wisp getting taken down. Are we going to see some entangles? No entangles at all. Just going after wisps, as there goes another one again. Off to the north here, we see a hawk now up on the skies, and this is magic attack. Early game magic attack to deal with these ghouls. The ghouls, remember, do have heavy armor, so this 21 to 25 damage is actually 42 to 50 damage per attack right there. And without a death coil, that ghoul, wow, able to escape away at 26 hit points. Is he going to be able to retreat back? The ghoul, well, trying to finish off a couple of these wisps here. No death coils for those saves, as the Keeper of the Grove may not be able to stick around in this fight for very long. Though, perhaps not wanting to try and play the whack-a-mole game here. Are we going to see enough heals? No, we are not. Not enough heals from those Moonwells, as those Moonwells were fairly bone dry too. Meanwhile, Beastmaster coming across with the Blue Dragon Spawn Meddler coming across here. We can see the Nerubian Tower is already up. We can see a Storm Reaver Apprentice, more damage coming across here, and that's going to be a bit of range damage. That's 17 to 20 damage on a level 1 creep. They are very, very vulnerable, but 17 to 21 damage range while you have the Bear and a Dragon Spawn Meddler, that is going to be very high damage indeed. We're looking at some repairs coming across here. Bears trying to take that down. Meanwhile, we're looking at also perhaps the Dragon or the Thunderhawk should be trying to chase after or stick around onto these ghouls. We're looking at a large amount of damage here. Still coming back across. The Keeper of the Grove going to be coming back around the other side as well, as more units coming in from Tho. So Tho bringing in a Tuskar Warrior as well. So dual Storm Reaver Apprentices, a Tuskar Warrior, a Blue Dragon Spawn Meddler, a Bear, and a Thunderhawk all in play here. A bunch of low hit point ghouls could get taken down. There goes one. Are we going to see more ghouls just getting cleaned up here? We are at tier 1 still on both sides. And we are now looking at perhaps a Tree of Life being placed down by Tho for a possible expansion. All right, ghouls. Well, ghouls trying to stay alive on Blight. Not going to be able to do that. That Thunderhawk able to deal so much damage, down to 30 hit points. One more shot, and it will get taken down. There goes one more, and that's going to be another gifted one right there. So 2 ghouls quickly taken out here as we're still looking at more damage. Acolytes perhaps going to get cleaned up here. The Potion of Greater Mana earlier by Tho was absolutely huge as the Beastmaster now gets up to level 4. All right, archers are shadow melded amongst all of this as well. However, they got cleaned up. I believe there was a Dust of Appearance use in order to fight back as Acolytes now taken down. Necropolis, well, trying to summon up some more here. There's a Scroll of Town Portal for a tactical retreat, and it will be able to retreat back home. Perhaps drink up some of that Moonwell juice, take down the expansion here, or the creep camp here to set up the expansion, and then put more pressure on the expo as we are looking at, well, dual Nerubian towers making short work of this Thunderhawk. Thunderhawk trying to get back up onto the high ground, and currently able to do exactly that, and just going to hold position there perhaps as those units are going to, well, continue to fight here. All right, just hold position there, trying to, well, stop any of that mining, and anytime he's able to, wow, one more shot, 2 more shots, it does get taken out by those Nerubian towers. Meanwhile, what is this? Tho, he does have the Tree of Life nearly done. It is most likely going to get canceled here, but it does pull Happy away to the other side of the map. I thought for a moment Tho may try and put pressure on the expo. Instead, he is going to be coming back around now. He could have cleared this out much, much earlier. There's some detonation. And now, are we perhaps going to see some repairs on this Tree of Life? There goes one treant as well. Tree of Life now trying to make its way back off to the north. Beastmaster sitting at level 4 compared to a level 2 Keeper of the Grove. As we are getting up a Huntress Hall, setting up that Tree of Life now, upgrading it to Tree of Ages, and also going after this Null Overseer Creep Camp with the Beastmaster on the cusp of level 5. Back off to the north here. What is this? Happy has taken the opportunity to pick up a level 6 Undead Wraith. Now, this could have been significantly stronger if Undead actually had access to that Death Knight, being able to get off a powerful Death Coil or 2. Wraith 31 to... But, oh. Wraith. I did not know that about the Wraith, so getting that Wraith there instead just grabbed the Kobold Taskmaster by possessing it, and now having that command aura. So I don't know if it's an upgrade or a downgrade, but that Kobold Taskmaster does have command aura there. All right, coming back around here, we are entangling this gold mine now. We're looking at this army rather wide here. A lot of one supply units, really adding to the overall with just head count here. Perhaps we're going to see the Tomb of Relics about to get taken down. It does get taken down. The Spirit Bear able to blink behind all of this and then get into position. That is going to be a big bash right there on that Spirit Bear. Meanwhile, the Thunderhawk being able to focus down more of those units, down to 17 hit points. One more shot would have been enough, and it does take it down as well. Trying to figure out low hit point units. We're going to see Happy's Kobold Taskmaster down to 156. Are we going to see another bear attack there? That could be more damage racked up again as the Kobold Taskmaster needs to find a way to heal. All right, you better believe that this Thunderhawk is going to try and go after that. And oh, the bear able to get a one final swap, but the Kobold Taskmaster able to make its way back off to the north here. All right, Beastmaster is at level 5. We're looking at the units trying to retreat back. There goes that spawn there. Kobold Taskmaster down to 209 hit points. Somehow still alive here. There you see an entangle. The Vile Tormentor going to get taken down, but that was just another deny. All right, Silence also coming in. Where did the Silence come from? Perhaps there was that Vile unit earlier as the Keeper of the Grove still trying to retreat back. Entangling of the Gold Mine now done. We are going into Dual Ancients of Lore. Thunderhawk now going to be heading back off over here to try and perhaps take down some of these ghouls. Beastmaster sitting at a decent amount of hit points. Not that much mana though. Has to be careful. We're going to see a Kobold Taskmaster get taken down there. That's a big unit indeed, as the Spirit Bear able to get in a big swipe onto another Crypt Fiend. All right, more damage getting racked up here. We're looking at another low hit point archer about to get taken down. There it goes. Entangle onto the Dark Troll Shadow Priest. There's a deny again. You are the weakest link. Goodbye, as a new bear shows up onto the party, only to get quickly slowed down by those Nerubian towers. Are we going to see another couple of bashes? There's another bash there. That's going to be another bash again. And, well, that bashful bear really doing a lot of damage and just showing up amongst the thick of things. I don't know. Do the dad jokes come across too quick? Yeah, you'd think a bashful bear wouldn't want to just jump right into a party. Anyways, not funny when you got to explain it, Crota. Not funny at all. All right, back off to the north here. We are looking at Tree of Ages, teching the tier 3, Keeper of the Grove, staying steady at level 4. I'm going to be able to get a little bit more experience. We see the Dreadlord as the second hero. And what's more important is not that there is the Dreadlord, but the fact that there's a second hero out on the battlefield. The Beastmaster is already at level 5, and there's a large number of creeps available on the map. That means that the Keeper of the Grove can get to level 5, and that the Beastmaster has no way of gaining additional experience. If Tho is, well, cold and calculating with this, and the Beastmaster keeps his distance, the Dreadlord will gain all of the necessary experience, and with that, bring a level 2 or perhaps even a level 3 hero to the party. The Dreadlord, however, perhaps not the best hero of choice here. Gonna go ahead and pick up a Tome of Intelligence +2. Beastmaster now heading off to the north, trying to find easy creep camps to clear. There is the Fountain of Health here. A number of high-level creeps. That's got to be a little bit careful. You can't really creep without the level 5 bear there, as we see a Scroll of Town Portal trying to retreat back here. We're going to see a Crypt Fiend about to get taken down. It does fall, giving level 2, and perhaps more importantly, also allowing Tho to clear out this Wildkin creep camp by himself and then get closer to 2.5, maybe 2 2/3 for level 3. Beastmaster needs to keep that distance back. All right, Keeper of the Grove is now right here. You're going to see a little bit of Orb of Corruption damage, and, well, are we perhaps going to see some more bears? There's another Carrion Swarm ripping through Vampiric Aura. So the bear now has Vampiric Aura, able to deal large amounts of damage, as the Keeper of the Grove being forced to fall back again. We need to see Destroyer form, and once Destroyer form is available for Happy, you better believe all of those summons of Tho are going to suddenly turn into a bit of a liability. Big damage indeed. Dreadlord needs a way to deal with all of this here. Beastmaster now still backing away. We're going to see the Dreadlord perhaps get to 2 2/3. Needs a little bit more experience again, perhaps trying to go after a red creep camp as the Dreadlord finishes things off here. Picks up a Ring of Regeneration now. Dual bears. And now we're also looking at the Keeper of the Grove fighting alongside that Dark Ranger who now has that Orb of Corruption while also having Silence. All right. Dreadlord looking to finish things off here. Dryad's doing a little bit of poke, trying to keep the distance away from that Black Drake, who does have piercing damage. That Black Drake, however, with heavy armor, going to end up falling really quickly to that Thunderhawk's focus fire, as the Dreadlord is going to easily clear out this creep camp, pick up a Sobi mask, and now continue to, well, perhaps heal up at this Fountain of Health, now at 3 2/3 as well. All right, a lot of hero leveling in these past moments. These creep camps falling at an extremely fast rate. The Beastmaster able to provide support by summoning up summons, allowing this Dreadlord to get to level 4 in no time flat. Meanwhile, the Dark Ranger trying to do the same exact thing, trying to get to level 3 while the Keeper of the Grove is away. And the Keeper of the Grove did provide some of those treants as well. All right, handful of green creep camps available on the map. That is it. We see Tho setting up an expo here at what I'll call the 7 o'clock position. 77 supply compared to 68. Dreadlord gets up to level 4, perhaps a detonation on some treants and or some of those lesser dark minions, as well. Dark Ranger sitting at level 3. We do see triple destroyers, and that is going to pretty much neutralize the Spirit, the Bears, and those Thunderhawks. All right, this is going to be particularly painful, but the Druids of the Talon have taken to the skies. All right, Tho already thinking or trying to think ahead, going into Druids of the Talon. However, there are Cryptfiends out here on the battlefield. The Druids of the Talon need to try and engage. We're going to see a couple of webs now being brought over. We're going to see some focus fire damage as we see Carrion Sword ripping on through there. All right, level 4 on that Dreadlord. Both sides fighting silence. These Druids of the Talon are getting picked out of the sky very, very quickly. Cryptfiends focus firing damage onto those Druids of the Talon, and they do fall relatively fast. Meanwhile, more damage coming across through here. Dreadlord perhaps going to try to get another Carrion Swarm. There's a Druid of the Spirit Bear bashfully trying to clean things up here. There's another Carrion Swarm ripping on through again. And was that? I thought for a moment I saw a bear teleport away. All right, so there's that Thunderhawk again. There is that Spirit Bear continuing to blink, causing problems again. Are we going to get it devoured? And I do not think it died due to damage. More timed life, 68 supply compared to 69. As there's going to be a straight up entangle there. Spirit Bear, where is it going to try and go? Going to instead blink away once more. 72 supply compared to 75. This additional gold mine perhaps going to be the difference here, as the main gold mines only have 3.5 minutes of mining left. All right, 4 minutes of mining left here on the south side. There was a bit of fighting earlier on, if you remember, in Happy's main base. There goes a Spirit Bear once more. So a lot of bears, Beastmaster rushing to bears here, as the, well, Dreadlord could get cleaned up here. All right, what item, if any, was dropped there? I don't know. It looks like there was a little bit of heal. Vampiric Aura, Dreadlord getting ready to engage. Cloak of Shadows going to be given to the Beastmaster. And, well, the Beastmaster's abilities are all pretty much shut down by Happy. We have Silence to stop the Thunder Lizards, and then we also have the Destroyers to stop all of those summons. That is not going to be an easy spot there, as the Destroyers now backing away. Yeah, I remember years ago saying that Druids of the Talon really should have piercing damage to help deal with Destroyers. I remember when they had magic damage, and just how silly it was that, well, Druids of the Talon couldn't easily deal with Destroyers. No real ranged air-to-air, anti-air. All right, coming back through, a little bit of poke going back and forth again. These Druids of the Talon, 29 to 47. We do have Vampiric Aura by Tho, so I'm wondering why we're not actually going for Hippogriffs. Hippogriffs plus that Vampiric Aura, that is a lot of damage. You also get more hit points per attack. The only difference is let's see how this damage is going to be going here. There's a little bit of poking back and forth. 79 supply compared to 75. Happy holding steadily. We can see that there is Thunder Lizards. There's that Carrion Swarm nearly taking out an Obsidian statue in the backfield. And one thing that I had forgotten, destroyers are not nearly as durable without the help of the Death Knight. With no Death Knight there, for those burst heals, destroyers and any damage onto those destroyers really does kind of stick. Tho's gold mine now finally entangled here, so we are looking at 3 bases versus 2, and there's this hidden expansion here attempt. Oh, we're looking at some tree ants going to go ahead and scout out to this side. This is already going to be done, and well, perhaps going to heal at the Fountain of Health. And Tho going to be using this Fountain of Health very effectively, also sitting on nearly 2k gold. That is huge. Nearly 2k gold means that he can burst into high upkeep with a maximum supply army in no time flat. All right. Are we going to see a Carrion Swarm rip through? There goes an Obsidian statue. Acolyte was trying to repair, not going to work. Happy is up against the ropes right now. That level 5 Carrion Swarm really racking up a lot of damage. Those Obsidian statues also not regenerating very much, as you see another Carrion Swarm rip through again. Some of the Druids of the Talon, silence across the board, as the Beastmaster could try and perhaps go for a couple of tree ants here. We see Happy bringing over a Death Revenant as the Dark Ranger gets to level 4. Both sides still fighting through here, as the Dreadlord sitting at level 5. We're going to perhaps see another Carrion Swarm ripping through much of these units again. Destroyer low on hit points. There's a Death Coil. That's exactly what the Death Revenant needed to bring for Happy. That Death Coil there. No Staff of Preservation. Drew to the Claw, getting entangled and taken down. 69 supply compared to 74. Both sides getting ready to fight. There's another Carrion Swarm. A lot of damage getting racked up. There's a couple more webs. Are we going to see another Carrion Swarm rip through and perhaps take down some of these Crypt Fiends, as the Bears just trying to blink onto all of these targets? Going to see that again and again. Carrion Swarm should be ready. We're looking at some damage as the units are just trying to retreat back here. We're going to see some more. Well, come on. Just going after. No, the Abomination somehow stays alive. Nope. Finally getting taken down as the Beastmaster now making its way through. Dreadlord sitting at 5.5. Infernal could pose a problem. Keeper of the Grove still trying to make, and there's a nasty, nasty bit of damage right there. That Carrion Swarm really ripping through. The Sobi Mask helping that Dreadlord stay topped off on mana all the time. And, well, I do not believe Happy wants to try and engage here. All right, going to turn back around. We're going to see a little bit of damage. There's the Orb of Venom on that Beastmaster being able to attack up. We see a Revenant. There's another Carrion Swarm ripping through. Druids of the Talon still making their way back over, as the Keeper of the Grove taking a little bit of slow poison damage. Are we perhaps going to see a Bear Bash here, trying to take after all of these units? Carrion Swarm could be inbound. That's a lot of low hit point units again. There it goes. Takes down the Obsidian statue, and another, well, Crypt Fiend was within death range because of that Carrion Swarm again. All right, 49 supply compared to 79. I think the writing is on the wall. No, it is done. Tho taking down Happy here. A beautiful game going back and forth. But Tho with the strong economic advantage and that early hero lead, getting level 4 on the Beastmaster compared to level 2 on the Keeper of the Grove, and just allowed hero levels to dominate the game. Once the Beastmaster was able to summon up level 3 Bears and level 2 Thunderhawks to help level up that level 1 Dreadlord, you knew that hero experience difference was just going to continue to grow and grow. Level 3 Carrion Swarm making the difference, and having the damage stick onto all of those targets as well. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.